Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the final day of Shitmas. And it certainly has been an interesting ride overall. And, relatively speaking, I'm not exactly prepared, and I don't even have a script for this because, personally I feel like it tends to flow a bit better when I don't have one. But we'll see how it goes. Well, for the final day of Shitmas, I thought that I would do something a bit different. A bit different than the usual shtick, than gameplay or poop corn or whatever the fuck that poor eggnog special was. I decided to talk about something I've been meaning to for quite some time. And that, of course, is a little anime film called Tokyo Godfathers. I don't know why I said it like that.
この子は神様がくださったクリスマスプレゼント。私たちの子供よ。
Tokyo Godfathers, of course, is a movie directed by Satoshi Kon, the anime industry legend himself, best known for his works such as Paprika, Perfect Blue, Millennium Actress, and so on and so forth. In addition to that, this movie is also animated by God, it's really hard. I keep wanting to say Anime Studio Madhouse, but it's just Madhouse. It's just Madhouse. Of course, Madhouse is, known for anime such as, Death Note. Probably their more popular example, or more recent example, would be, One Punch Man and a couple other movies and series, such as Black Lagoon. Can't forget about Black Lagoon. So you might be wondering, why did I decide to watch this at this time of the year? Well, aside from the fact that it's Christmas. Well, I don't know. I've been meaning to talk about anime on the channel for quite some time, but I've never really taken the chance to do so. And it's something that, I've been working on a bit, but it's been taking some time because the series I'm wanting to talk about are a bit longer than expected. So we'll see how that goes. But I thought this would be a little taste for what the future holds. So yeah. So Tokyo Godfathers, of course, follows 3 homeless individuals that kind of get wrapped up into this little issue when they find a baby that's been abandoned in, I want to say, the trash, or not the trash, but not like a dumpster baby, but kind of a dumpster baby, as fucked up as that sounds. And basically just kind of follows them as they go through various hijinks and encounter different issues, with some of them wanting to keep the baby for themselves, or essentially trying to figure out what to actually do with it, all that kind of stuff. It's a bit tricky to talk about the movie overall without just going into straight up spoilers, but that won't be till later, until the second aspect. Well, however that goes. In addition to that, so I guess first off I would talk about which version I watched. For this specific example, I watched the English dub because, let's just say that it was the only source available that was not in terrible quality. Typically I would watch the English subbed, but I think in this example the English dub did a pretty good job of capturing what I feel like these characters are. So Gin, Hana, I want to say Miyuki, I keep forgetting her name for some reason. I'll put a correction right here because I'm lazy. I think overall they fit their characters pretty well, and none of them really stuck out like a sore thumb, and they all felt very natural and felt like they fit their characters overall pretty well. As far as the anime goes, or as far as the animation goes, it is, I think for the animation for the most part, even though this movie came out back in 2003, it has aged so goddamn well. still looks really good, even by today's standards, and is just like breathtaking to look at overall. That's how I feel about it. Like one of the things that really stands out to me is like how expressive a lot of the characters are and how animated they are. You know, as weird as that sounds to say, because for me, I've only really seen one thing from Satoshi Kon, and that of course is good old fashioned Paranoia Agent, which, by the way, is a fucking trip. But like, just the attention to detail when it comes to like how they express themselves overall, I felt was really refreshing to see, because I feel like when it comes to anime, characters are rarely ever that detailed when it comes to the facial expressions. It's always more stone-faced, or not much is going on there, or the attention to detail is in other aspects per se. In addition to that, I also like how like a lot of the, I want to say cinematography, but I always feel weird saying that when it comes to like an anime. But like the way a lot of these shots or like animation aspects are framed, I feel is very, very nice. Like one of the examples I can think of is like a scene later on where like the three main characters are at a graveyard, and on one side you've got Hana, which is like one of the main characters, and you got Gin, who's on the other side, and they're having their own argument, while Miyuki and Kyoko are all in the middle, just kind of like doing their own thing. It looks really nice. Looks really nice. Well, as far as like recommendations go, if you're like somebody who isn't really an anime fan, or you're kind of like iffy about this movie overall, I'd say check it out. Like, especially like a lot of like Satoshi Kon's work, and I want to say like Genu Uebuchi and Shinichi Watanabe, and I had another example that I thought of before, but I can't remember right now. Like watching a lot of those specific anime series done by those kind of creators, I feel for the most part is a lot more welcoming to like Western viewers than it is than for like other shows like, I don't know, Clannad or Bakemonogatari. I don't know. I can't really think of any examples, but those are like shows I wouldn't recommend to like complete newcomers who maybe aren't exactly accustomed to anime. Since for a lot of the part, I feel like a lot of people just kind of assume that anime is just cringy weeaboo shit. But there definitely are some more classy anime out there that I think are very good. I recommend to basically anybody. Such as Cowboy Bebop, which is right over there. Right over there. But I don't have it. But yeah, overall I'd say I'd recommend this movie if you haven't seen it. And I think overall it does a good job of mixing both like lighthearted moments with like more dark, kind of serious and a bit tragic moments as well. But overall leaves you feeling pretty good. Yeah. So with that in mind, let's move on to the spoiler section. Well, welcome to the spoiler section, which ideally I'll give people a timer to like kind of click away in case they don't want to see it, because you know there's a little after section they plan on having. But essentially, when it comes to this movie, I'd say that I think probably my favorite aspect of the movie, aside from like how the animation looks. God, I look pale because of how the webcam is when it does that. I think my favorite aspect of this movie is definitely the characters overall. I like how varied they are, and I like that a lot of them are fairly flawed in their own ways, and it leads to different conflicts between the three of them, even though at the end of the day, a lot of them, or Jesus, I'm falling apart. Even though at the end of the day, the three of them all very much care about each other. Don't mind that. But yeah, like learning about all their stories as the story goes forward, I thought was really nice. Learning about Geen being kind of like a borderline, I want to say compulsive liar, but it's more of just lying about his past, which yeah, where he's like, yo, I used to be a professional cyclist, and then I lost it all because of gambling problems, and during that whole period my wife and their child died, and now I'm homeless. And then it turns out later on it's like, oh, he was just a bike shop owner that did gambling and essentially abandoned his family, probably due to embarrassment or just to escape the gambling addiction or problems. And then of course Hana gets fucking pissed about that, and it's like, what? You fucking lied to me about that shit? Are you kidding me? It's like, goddamn. Pretty good section. And I also really like, I want to say Hana's story as well. Like, I think my favorite character in the movie probably would be Hana. I think that she was really cool, and I really liked the fact that she cared a lot about the baby. Yeah. And like kind of like understanding her situation, if like they never really found her parents overall, since she was more or less abandoned and they don't really know why. And the fact that she's so committed to doing so, and at the end of the day she does care about everyone. She does care about the other two, and pretty much do anything to make sure they're okay. Yeah, she was really good. The only character that I was a bit iffy about was probably Miyuki, because I feel like, I don't know, I think her story was complete. It's just that it was a lot more subtle overall. Granted, when I watched this movie it was like 4 a.m. or something, so that didn't help. But I think like the fact that her family, or at least her mother, was like super religious and they were probably very strict, kind of led to her kind of lashing out, especially when she had a cat that just kind of disappears, and they probably weren't a very big fan of it, so she kind of just assumed that would happen. But in reality, cat was fine. They found it, I guess, or something. And of course the movie kind of ends at a point that like is a bit off, you know? You don't really get to see like the reaction, or kind of like Miyuki and her father mending their relationship. I really hope her name is Miyuki, otherwise I've been calling her the wrong name this entire time, which, sorry. But yeah. In addition to that, I also recorded a commentary track and stuff for that, but in this specific case, I don't think there's really much to work with there, because for the most part it was pretty quiet, you know? At least in terms of commentary. Like, of course I laughed and I would like get a little emotional at parts, and I think the one scene that really got me to be loud was when Geen and Hana and like the store owner that they're with kind of get out of the store after an argument breaks out, and then like some fucking vehicle just comes like speeding by and just crashes right into the storefront, and it would have totally killed them. And it's like super shocking for the like 30 seconds, I want to say, and then the guy that's in the vehicle comes like walking out. He's like, call an ambulance. And it's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, oh man. And I think because this movie kind of just feels like a road trip overall. Just kind of watching these like three main characters go through various different hijinks and kind of more or less finding themselves as the story goes along, while all trying to take care of this baby, even though some of them act like they don't want to. And it's like very heartwarming. Also that fucking ending, Jesus Christ, where where the crazy lady shows up and she just fucking endangers that baby's life and is just pretending to be its mother. It's very, very intense. Overall, if I was to give this movie a rating, I would probably give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think that's a reasonable rating. I don't really rate movies all that often, and rarely do I rate anything like 5 out of 5 because, you know, for me that's usually safe for movies that I find to be perfect. And you know, but this movie's pretty good. I will definitely check out Satoshi Kon's other work through some sort of means. Ideally, I would just buy it and own a physical copy, but well, we'll see. Okay, well, let's move on to the aftermath. Well, welcome to the little kind of end slate or end segment, as you will, just to kind of wrap up all of the 12 Days of Shitmas. If I was being perfectly honest, it was a bit mixed for me, personally. I was very underprepared for a lot of it, and ideally I would have varied it up a lot more than I did, you know, instead of having like gameplay parts split up as much as they were. But I actually had planned to have a special event for Halloween, but just didn't have any time whatsoever to get it all put together, and really underestimated it overall. I should have started filming in August. However, for next year, I probably won't do another 12 Days of Shitmas, but who knows, like I might have more stuff ready, and I do want to do different kinds of content than I'm doing right now, which this video is kind of a showcase of that a little bit, I don't know, it depends how the editing process goes. And yeah, well, that in mind, I just wanted to wish everybody happy holidays. Hope that you enjoy your Christmas, or if you don't, then hopefully this made it a bit better, even though it's a bit weird of a note to end on. But yeah, I would say look forward to content in the future, but we'll have to see. There's some stuff I need to finish up with, and well, I did record some gameplay with Vincenzo, but we'll see how that goes, because to be perfectly honest, I probably plan on moving away from that kind of content for a bit, or at least having it be very heavily edited down and not doing full playthroughs of stuff, because it takes too much time, I guess. And I think for next year I wanted to do more stuff that's very varied, as you will. Like Poopcorn Theater, as fun as it is a bit tricky. I think in the case of The Happening it was a bit rough, but part of that was due to the fact that that was pre-webcam era, so there's no webcam it can cut to kind of get around the copyright issues that happen with that kind of movie. And also because I'm not very good at editing, so that didn't help at all. In addition to that, I wanted to talk more about anime, and maybe even talk about some other stuff too. Some specific TV shows and movies that I've been meaning to discuss. We'll see. We'll see how willing I am to do that. But with that in mind, it's been me, Goblin Kun, and hopefully 2021 will be better, right? Probably won't be, but I mean mostly in terms of content and stuff. And who knows? Maybe I'll even bring in some other people, since I don't really do that all that much. But yeah. Bye-bye. As I frantically try to find the stop video. Bye-bye.